always start by trying to understand and be merciful, and give it your best, because it's the best shot you've got. There are many people who've come from very terrible situations and made it to the top. The next one could be you.
No, the next one will be you.
I do use deep learning, deep reinforcement learning in my work. I work with large language models and optimization. As I was saying, understanding better, how to optimize these models. So all the deep technical work that you'd expect in an AI scientist to be doing at any company is what I'm engaged in at work.
Awesome, awesome. And what does a typical day in the life of your work look like?
Well, first opening a lot of emails and seeing what I'm behind on, because there's definitely a lot that I'll be behind on. Joining some meetings, maybe reviewing some code, writing some code, um, attending meetings, planning as well. Um, so it's usually some mix of things that I mentioned.
And I guess in computer science, but especially in the ML space, I imagine there's a lot more thinking and planning than coding. Is that correct, or what are your thoughts on that?
Well, it can be a lot of coding. Um, I think and you'll find people on all sides of this, and it might have something to do with personality. I prefer to think deeply about what I want to code, the sort of problems there may be, the tests I need to write uh, before starting anything. Make and doing just a simple proof of concept from beginning to end, ensuring the inputs and outputs are matching in the way that I expect, from the start of the pipeline to the end of the pipeline, deploying it on the cloud, all of that. Just doing something very simple at first, making sure that once I've done the thought process that, okay, this framework should work, trying to pressure test it. Um, and then you can start fully fledged out, bringing everything in. That's the way that, I go about my work. But I know some people who they just start. They'll really think about what what comes next. They just start writing like, oh, I need a function for this. Oh, I need a function for that. If it works, it works, but it does not for me.
That makes sense. That makes sense. And where do you see yourself, or if you thought about this at all, like in the next few years in regards to ML, or what it is you want to do, what line of work you want to contribute to?
Hmm. Much better at everything, all the skills that I have now, and also having a much wider skill set and deeper skill set in many areas of AI. Um, I like doing technical work that helps people. So so long as I'm doing technical work that helps people, then I'll be good where I'm at. That's what I believe.
Yeah, yeah. And um, how I guess there's a lot of ethics, right, associated with ML. How do you navigate that, or how do even companies navigate that when making decisions?
Yeah. Um, so short answer is they don't all do it. Um, when they do it, um, so Johnson and Johnson is really good at it because they have healthcare compliance. So they have people who specialize in this and do that. That's their job day in and day out, ensuring that everything is compliant that they're doing. So we work closely with them. Um, but other places I'm aware of, uh, they're just kind of up to the ML engineers. And it's not like everyone is going be checking every in some cases they will be, but you'll have people are people, right? So some senior engineers, they get the pull request, they just LGTM, they didn't read a line, right? So so talking about ethics, um, you know
What's for everyone? What's LGTM?
looks good to me. So it's just like, again, more tech talk. um, so, y- y- it depends on the company. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
you can definitely skate by doing things you shouldn't do, and that, yeah, happens probably more than the community would like to admit to.
that makes sense. That makes sense. Cool. Yeah, so I think just wanted to also transition to maybe some of the side ventures or side projects that you worked on in ML. You want to speak of any that you've done, or are you looking to do some in the future?
Yeah, so always working on projects to help others with machine learning. One thing I did in the past was, um, so I really enjoyed working with one of my really good friends, Ron Adib, and Vish, on a project turned into a company called Hyper AI. We did that while we were at Carnegie Mellon. We're all in the master's in AI program, and that was basically finding ways of using large language models seamlessly into the LinkedIn experience. So allowing people to connect with people with really well crafted messages. So we developed that tool. We got some publicity for it, and ended up leaving the space entirely, primarily because of competition. And that might sound like, oh well, you developed it, and you just saw competition and you ran away. You damn right, I ran away, because if you're going into an area where there's competition, you better be ready to work like mad 24/7 to beat the competition. And that's not what we were hoping to do. We're hoping to build something that was a strong product before other people, and win the market early. That's what a lot of companies do that are successful. So it just happened that when we did it, everything started exploding. So tons of other companies, and it's just not something that after the pros and cons were drawn, we thought we wanted to pursue any further. Things might change in the future, but currently, I think the space is too clogged, and we'd be fighting for one like out of it's just yeah. So we left it, but it was really good to get that experience of, again, understanding business problem, translating that into technical solution, and presenting that to the world.
What was your biggest takeaway from that experience?
Team is most important.
Mm, mm, yeah, yeah, makes sense. Cool. So I think those are pretty much most of the questions I have, but I wanted to end off on a strong note with maybe some advice or a call to action to viewers. To give you context, maybe these are viewers who are, in high school looking to transition to college and computer
Mm.
science, maybe interested in ML, or students that are already in college right now that are computer science or engineering majors. Um, as well as maybe early grads or people looking to career shift in the MLAS space. Is there something you'd like to share with these people? Some wisdom, word of advice?
Yeah. Don't allow success or failure to craft the person that you're becoming. Um, if there's something that is important to you that you really want to do, please try and do it. Um, it's going to be the adventure of your life if you do. Um, Pay attention to the people that you have around you. Extremely important. Um, I'd say really only tolerate good people, and make sure you try your best to be a good person. Hold yourself accountable to the mistakes you made. Um, if you do something that is wrong, or you learned is wrong, doesn't matter if it's 5 years ago. Go back and try to right that. Doesn't mean that the person is going to accept, or um, but do your best to stay on a good path, and surround yourself with good people. That is going to help so many people who are struggling, because life is it's very easy for some people and it's extremely hard for others, right? There's someone right now who they're coming home, they've got air conditioning, and they don't have to worry about when their family owns their home. They have all the nicest cars. At 16 they had a Mercedes, and they have all these tutors that are helping them, and access to a network of highly successful doctors, engineers, and they go to a golf club, a country club that they're in. They get to talk to them all the time and learn all this information from them. They go to conferences with their family. They travel, learn different languages. All these things they have at their advantage. When you get to these institutions, many of those people will be there. So if you're one of those people, I don't need to tell you much, because your life is already set up for you. That you were kind of born at the finish line. You just kind of have to roll over. They put in a lot of work as well, but uh, you know, it's very different from the life of someone who if you're talking about like the sex component, right? If you're maybe a woman in tech, and someone like, oh, are women smart or something like that? You'll probably run into that. If if you're talking about the diversity component, and this one can work both ways, right? Because you can be a broke Chinese guy, living in terrible situation, with rats and drug dealers and very dangerous health issues and family issues, drunk, alcoholic people around you, and just making like everything is really trying to tear you down, right? You don't even have food to eat many nights. Maybe you go to sleep hungry, right? Um, and people might be like, "Oh, well, you're Chinese, so you should be smart." It's like, well, I've had a pretty difficult life myself. Or, a
Yeah.
black person can have that experience, and and people can look at you and they can judge you. Oh, you're black. Can you code? I've actually, it's funny because someone asked me, not asked me that, but asked that of me when I was at Carnegie Mellon. Someone was like, "Can he code?" And they let me know. One of my friends let me know that someone asked that, and I was just like mind blown, like just because I'm black. So it's just, so you'll run into these things if you're coming at life with a different start than some other people who you will see if you're going down this path. And my advice to you is that your best bet is to try your best, and to try and surround yourself with the best people that um, and to not make the assumption that your life is harder than someone else's. Always start by trying to understand, and be merciful, and give it your best, because it's the best shot you've got. There are many people who've come from very terrible situations and made it to the top. The next one could be you.
No, the next one will be you.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. Cool. Well, yeah, it's like, thank you so much, man, for coming on to the show. Like, it truly means a lot for myself as well as the audience. Guys, I just want to let you guys know I actually met him at that conference in Afrotech, which is actually my first YouTube video. And I'm so grateful for that experience, because if I have any questions, he's the guy to go to. He's my mentor. He's the guy I go to when I ask. So no, everyone needs one, and you're my guy. So yeah, after I post this video, I'm sure you're gonna send the link to Ilyas. He'll definitely be there and be more than happy to answer any questions. I mean, look at all the great advice he's giving you all.
Well, it's my pleasure, Mazen. And it seems like you still have that talent for saying nice things that I know I don't deserve to hear, but I'll take it. I appreciate it. Thank you for taking the time out for me and dedicating a portion of your life to helping uplift others. It's something that people desperately need.
Of course, and I'll be continuing that journey. All right, everyone. All right. Well, thank you, Ilyas, and thanks, everyone. Peace.